So in our last video, we finally entered Virginia, hung out in Norfolk for a little while near the naval base, and then we headed out into the Chesapeake Bay, headed north to Deltaville and Reedville, where we toured the Fisherman's Museum and all that Reedville has to offer. And then we swung back out in the Chesapeake, headed north to Solomon Island, Maryland, got some tasty crabs, and toured Solomon Island. Today we head to Annapolis, Maryland, sort of the cruiser's mecca of the East Coast. We take a mooring ball and then do some touring of the city, see some history, and then we head out to the C&D Canal, which connects the Chesapeake to the Delaware, head down the Delaware to the Cape May area where we shirk some bad weather and tour Cape May for a couple of days. Then we head up on the inside passage of New Jersey, stopping in Atlantic City, and then in Manasquan. Have you ever dreamed of selling it all and cruising into the sunset? Well, that's exactly what we did. It's no fun going it alone though, so why don't you join us for the ride? So a little map of what we cover in this video today. We start off in Annapolis, Maryland, and then we leave and head up the Chesapeake Bay to a little anchorage right before the C&D Canal, which is the Chesapeake to Delaware River Canal that connects the two. We go over to the Delaware River in the morning, down the river to Cape May, New Jersey. We spend a few days there, then we head up to Atlantic City for an overnight anchorage on our way to Manasquan Inlet in northern New Jersey to stage for where we will head through New York, and then we'll cover that in the next video. As we leave Solomon's, Maryland, the first thing we see is this huge natural gas tanker that we need to avoid. In Annapolis, Maryland, outside the city marina, waiting for the drawbridge to open on the hour or half hour. Kind of a cloudy day, but low wind. Got some mega yachts here. Nice view of the harbor. Just came through there. So we are in Annapolis, Maryland at the Spa Creek anchorage. Beautiful anchorage. I think there's about 60 numbered mooring balls here. Right past this little drawbridge, very calm. $25 a night in contrast to the last one we were at, which was $51 a night. Nice marinas, all the hubbub that Annapolis has to offer. Hopefully its day turns out a little bit nicer, but we're happy to be here. Now the moorings are all first come first serve, but the city of Annapolis makes it easy. There's directions right on the mooring for who to call to pay for the mooring. And every once in a while you get lucky, as we did in this case, where there is plenty to see just from hanging out on your mooring. Some of our neighbors here in Annapolis. Look at this trimaran.
Ready. Eyes up. 1:47. Go. Sit ready. Paddles up. 1:10. Go. Sit ready.
And another added touch is we were only about 100 yards from a public dinghy dock. Dropped Lori off there and she was able to walk to a supermarket about a mile away. So it was super convenient. We did not tour the academy, but in hindsight, I wish we did. And we were about a 5-minute dinghy ride to the center of town, which was walking distance to all the shops and restaurants and even the Naval Academy. The center of Annapolis itself was pretty inviting. There were a ton of shops, restaurants of every imaginable kind. A lot of people walking around and enjoying the place. After visiting a number of smallish towns on the lower Chesapeake Bay, it was kind of nice to be in a bigger place like Annapolis with all that it has to offer. Just walking around, I spied this very dapper father and son duo, and I couldn't help but grab a shot of them. Annapolis, being Maryland's capital, is full of history and a lot of buildings dating back to the 1700s. And being Maryland, I had to be on the hunt for blue crab. Found some fried soft-shell crab that was absolutely amazing. So if you know island time, you know we get parched pretty quickly. We had to stop at Pusser's Rum Bar and have the famous painkiller made with Pusser's rum, which I believe was started somewhere in the British Virgin Islands. But as much as we like walking around and touring, we also like hanging out on our own flybridge for afternoon sundowners, even on a cloudy day.
This is the way we roll on island time. Nice charcuterie plate with cheeses and breads. Lori's homemade rosemary bread. Woo!
Leaving Annapolis and heading north to the C&D Canal, we had a glorious day, 1 foot seas, very light winds, just a beautiful cruising day. It was nice, warm, and calm, and Pancake couldn't help but catch some shut-eye. So we found this nice anchorage just south of the Chesapeake and Delaware Canal, and it was pretty secluded, quiet, no wakes. It was a really nice evening.
So the generator's on right now, it's a little loud because Lori toasted a few things up, but somebody had asked us a while ago, one of our viewers, you know, do we only eat seafood? Absolutely not. We love meat, so it's Father's Day, and Lori put together this amazing spread. Let's see if we can see this. See this? It's mozzarella, it's basil, caprese, we got some prosciutto, and we have some naan. so we have Indian and Italian because it's delicious. And neither of us are Indian or Italian, but it doesn't matter. So, hey, hon, nice job. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Pancake turned 5 today. And she celebrated with a frosted cookie from a pet store.
Pancake.
But
Is your birthday?
there's the cakes.
She's waiting for leftovers.
Yeah, hoping for leftovers, but she doesn't get any. Bad parents. Cakes, 5 years old.
I gotta say that one of the best parts of cruising are the sunsets. So we got an early start the next day to get through the C&D Canal so that the current would be in our favor. And then we got to the Delaware River, Delaware Bay, to head south towards Cape May. We were kind of warned about it, that it could get super rough, but that's not what we found. We were lucky with light winds and kind of planned it that way, but we didn't realize it would be this calm. Had almost no seas, and typically people say that wind against current there can create some big seas, and it can be a rough ride, but everything worked out perfectly for us. Man, this ship was just bananas.
Pancake. You just chilling out?
Once we got to Cape May, we headed over to the Lobster House, one of the largest restaurants that I've ever seen. Inside dining, outside dining, takeout, food counter, as well as an attached schooner where they had a bar, restaurant, and live entertainment. We decided to stop in Cape May because the forecasters were saying 3 days of heavy winds. Figured this was as good a place as any. There's a lot to see and do there, so we decided to go out and check out the town. Cape May has a fair amount of tourist type shops, nice little promenade area with cobblestones, and an abundance of ice cream shops if that's your thing. And one thing that Cape May is absolutely known for are the Victorian homes, many of which are inns and bed and breakfasts. If you just walk around the central area, there are blocks and blocks of these fine Victorian homes. And your occasional trailerable tug. Eventually, we stumbled upon the historic Congress Hall Hotel in Cape May, which is absolutely beautiful.
We have a bar. Nice bar. So New Jersey's got a lot of little cottages on stilts just past Wildwood.
This is pretty much the inside view along the Jersey Shore area. As far as the Intracoastal goes, most cruisers don't like going on the inside of New Jersey because it's known for being very shallow, but with our 3-foot draft, we didn't see any problem. There were some skinny areas along the way, but we never had any sort of worry about running aground.
They're having a great day.
There were a number of drawbridges to contend with, and here Easy Riders is following us through. After a while, the landscape went from beachside houses to high rises, and we knew that Atlantic City was pretty close by. The Intracoastal at this point takes you right through Atlantic City, so as you can imagine, we had to contend with a number of drawbridges. Our anchorage for the evening was at the Atlantic City Inlet, just past the casinos. And thankfully, Easy Riders was ahead of us because Mike had done this the year before, so he was our pilot boat. The anchorage started off a little choppy with about 15 knot winds, but we decided to raft up together for the evening. Once the sun went down, it settled down nicely for a beautiful night. This appeared to be a popular anchorage with at least a dozen boats behind us. We elected to keep our money and not dinghy over to the casinos.
Atlantic City morning. Fogged in.
You can see just how narrow this is as Easy Riders is ahead of us again. We had to keep between the orange triangle on the left side and that little spit of land on the right. Saying that the pucker factor was high was an understatement. It was actually pretty deep there, but I was relieved to have that behind us. Leaving Atlantic City proper that morning was foggy and drizzly, but we had radar and Mike was ahead of me. The fog finally cleared and we had a pretty nice smooth ride up to the Manasquan Inlet area in northern New Jersey. Had to go through a last drawbridge, which is kind of the oldest and narrowest we've been through. Cables, pulleys, and I think only about 30 feet wide or so. Oh, and all while avoiding the clueless paddleboarder.
So this is the Glimmerglass anchorage, northern New Jersey. It's got the inlet, maybe the Manasquan. Got the kids playing on paddle boards. It's a beautiful anchorage, multi-million-dollar homes. Occasional train, and Easy Riders.
Once again, we were treated to a nice sunset, as we call it, an evening. That's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. It really helps us out.